Hey guys, Batjack JW coming to you. We're going to be showing and going over the many parts of the Beretta 92 pistol. It's got quite a few parts, so let's get started and let's see if we can do this. Off with the barrel, removing the wedge here. There's a roll pin right there. Just set that and hammer this out. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. Roll pins right there. Keep a track of all these parts because there's a lot of these type of parts here in this gun. Alright. There it is. Pull that out. Watch the way it comes out. You can see the scoop right here, the kind of where they removed a lot of the metal. That's what holds it together. That's where the pin lives, right there, to hold it together. And there's your block. And that's it for the barrel. Alright, next the slide. I want to remove basically it's the firing pin block. Right there, there's it. And it's held in by this roll pin right here. This one I don't believe matters which way it comes out. Some pins on this gun does, but most of these are roll pins and you don't want to force anything. So okay, so there it is, it's out, and you'll notice on the bottom it's already kind of protruding out. Let's go ahead and you watch the way it comes out, always watch. Okay, and you'll actually notice right there there's a small spring right there. There it is. You want to be careful not to lose any of these parts. Now you'll see on the bottom of the stop here, that little carved out area, like a little hole. That's where the spring goes. So you can understand where it needs to line back up to get back in there. Okay. All right. So now moving on to the decocker system, which again now here's where it's going to start to get very interesting. Okay, you'll see the little holes down here. There's two of them. Set your little punch in there. Oops. Alright, I'll start hammering them out. There's one. And two. Alright. There they are. Very tiny little pins. Okay, the arm will just slide right out. That's what those pins are. They're holding on the this side of the decocker and also holding it together. Alright, so very careful, be very careful with this part. What you're going to do is depress the firing pin. Oops. Okay, so I moved it all the way up by depressing that. That right there now is in position to come out. The little detent in there that actuates to hit the firing pin is now seated back into there, and you can see the safety now is kind of in an odd position. Be very careful at this point because I will show you. I'm going to cup my hand over this part and I'm going to slowly push this out. I'm going to just push out from this side, and if you heard that, we have a lot of little springs and little things that come out. Okay, this thing goes together like this, and this is on that side. Let's go ahead and remove this. Okay, where this lives is right in here. A lot of people probably don't even know what that looks like. Okay, and this take that out so we don't lose it. This part here just comes right out. You can see it only fits one way. There's a head on it. It only kind of goes in one way. Now the other spring and little post live right there. There it is, very tiny. Does come apart. You can see why I didn't want to, why I stalled so much on making this video. Alright, that lives right down there. Okay, so the next part is a bit kind of, I guess you could say, controversial, because this is how you remove the firing pin and the extractor. It's staked. I have not had problems with mine, but anyway, I'll leave that up to your decision. Okay, so you have to access it through the bottom, and it is kind of in an angle, so you have to kind of look at it. It's going this way, so you have to kind of get it on reverse, get your punch in there, and make sure you go back. You can see it's drawn in at an angle. So alright, pull that out. There's the post, or the pin. It's got a head on it, so it only goes back in one way, and it's got to come up through the bottom, through the top, because it's staked in and it's got that head. Alright, it's already starting to come apart here. Okay, so here's the extractor, the little spring that lives in there. And if you guys remember my first video about this, here we'll see, got an old rag right here. Here's how nasty that extractor gets, and even on the inside of that slide. So to thoroughly clean this area, you have to do this. That's the one thing about this gun that kind of bothers me, but it's alright. Okay, so now you see the firing pin now wants to pretty much come out. There's the firing pin. Kind of look at the way it goes in, and there's the spring, and that pretty much covers the slide, other than the sights. Okay, kind of intricate. So anyway, the firing pin, is held in by the extractor. So there you have it. You have quite a few parts just in the slide alone. You got the extractor spring, firing pin spring. You got all these little pins up here. You got the safety decocker with its two little pins just for the one arm. This firing pin stop with its spring. The decocker mechanism here with its pin through here with its loaded spring and pin and everything. So that's the slide. Next up is the frame. I've already taken the grips off. So first thing, let's just start with something small, as it all is. Alright, let's take the takedown lever. I'm pushing it as you would to use it to take down, but moving it up and it'll slide right out. Keeping tension on the button because it is spring loaded. Out it comes. There's a little spring. It's full of springs, isn't it? Alright. The next, we're going to take out the trigger, but in order to start that, you need to take out the slide stop, because if you notice, there's a little stake right there. That's part of the spring. Lift up on the slide stop, slowly work its way out because it is under spring tension. When it gets out to a certain point, it'll ease its way down, and you can pull it out. Okay, and now you'll see the little spring and where it lives. There's a little arm that slides right down in there. So remove that little spring. There it is. Very tiny, very skinny, very narrow, very easy to lose and cause you a headache. Alright, so the next thing, we're going to take out this bar. Now this is all just to get the trigger out, but you'll notice, if you pay attention right here, there's another little spring. So let's get that out by depressing it and scooting it over and removing it. I want to be careful when we remove it, because it is tiny and we don't want to lose it. There it is. See, it's pretty small, so be careful, as this gun is loaded with a lot of these types of springs. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is push out this pin right there. I'm going to cover the top because the spring may fly out. Okay, alright, and it did not. Then I can remove this bar. Bar comes up, and here comes the trigger with its little spring here. Another little spring. Keep that to the side. There's the trigger. This one happens to be polymer, and it's got the metal insert that holds all the tension, I guess. Alright, so next is, now we're going to get into all of this stuff up here. Now pay attention to the way it looks and everything like that, so you know how it comes apart. Okay, so first thing we do is take out this bottom pin right here that will hold. Let's get a bigger punch. There we go. Okay, so make sure it only comes out one way. Pressure, so you might want to put your thumb over it when you release that, and then out it comes. Okay, set those to the side, and you can see already the spring and everything wants to come out. Just go ahead and push this donut. They call it a donut because on the other side it's flat. You can see there. There's the hammer, and inside is the strut and spring, mainspring. You can see, just look at the way it goes in. Make sure you kind of remember that kind of thing. Alright, so you got the hammer, strut, spring, the pin that goes on the bottom with its cap. Alright, next up is taking out all this stuff here. You want to look and see how it all works. Don't be afraid to move parts and see just how it works. Okay, so let's hammer out this pin right here. This is under some tension, so put my punch right there and just slowly hammer that out. And the spring may fly. Let's see. Let's see if it does. Yep. Okay. So did it come out of there? There it is. That's your sear spring right there. There's your sear. And now you can cut loose with all this stuff here. Now this one here on the top, I believe, just pushes right out. This pin right here. Yep. See it coming out through the back. Take it out, set it aside, and then these things will come out. Okay. There you have them. Okay, the only thing left is the ejector. Okay, so just go ahead and tap that out. That's held in by a pin right there. You actually don't need to go all the way out to remove it, but you can. There it is. And that's the ejector pin and everything. It's pretty much stripped down except for the magazine release. It's held in together. You can just actually squeeze that together and push it out. Let's see, I think it goes from the... There it goes. You just push it from this side. I have mine reversed so that it's for a lefty. And there it is. And it is kind of, you see this spring wedge between there. Okay. Comes out that way, so I like to keep this contained because it's fun to put it back together. Anyway, there it is. The many parts of the Beretta 92. I think it popped everything we could out of this thing. And yes, here is the glorious pieces. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. That is the video on the many pieces of the Beretta. You can see kind of why I stalled out on the channel to do this, because there's quite a few things going on. Anyway, I'm Batjack JW. Appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, I guess the conclusion of it is, well, you know, it's a good pistol. I like the Beretta and everything. It's a really sexy looking gun and everything, but man, there is way too many parts in this gun. There's too many little springs and things that if you're taking it apart, you have to be extremely careful. Things don't just jet across the room and you probably never see it again, you know, because they're tiny. You know, I don't know, but anyway, my thoughts on it: it shoots great. I like the feel of it. I like the looks of it. But internally, it's quite a mess. Anyway, but I don't know. You know, I don't know either way to say it. But that's it. The many parts of the Beretta. I'm Batjack JW. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe.